Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host, Ray Flowers. It's been a while since I've talked to you on a video. I've been real busy doing things like going to Las Vegas, hookers and blow, the key terms there for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. By the way, go to BaseballGuys.com, look up Vegas and the FSTA for a bit better understanding of what I'm referring to. Lots of excitement here in the world of baseball as we get started with the 2012 fantasy baseball season. So I wanted to do a video today for you, again, at BaseballGuys.com. Prince Fielder, the big signing in the world of baseball right now, 9 years, $214 million, the fourth largest contract in the history of baseball. The only bigger deals, the one that Albert Pujols just signed and the two that A-Rod signed. Where did this come from? Scott Boras is the best guy in the world at his job. I've said that over and over again. I have no idea how he continues to pull rabbits out of his hat. But the Tigers, a team that no one was talking about in relation to Fielder, signed Fielder to that 9-year, $214 million deal. What does that mean for Fielder? Well, for Fielder, it means he's leaving a park in the National League that was 16% better than the league average in terms of home runs to left-handed batters, for a park in the American League that was 11% worse than the big league average for left-handed power hitters. Now, Prince Fielder's not a guy that hits 318-foot home runs just squeaking over the fence. He's a guy that's hitting them 420, 430, 450. I don't think this makes a bit of difference in reality to his home run total. Maybe he loses 1 or 2 home runs. Maybe his ceiling is 40 home runs instead of 50, but he'll still pound the hell out of the ball for the Tigers. And he's been doing that for years with the Brewers. Top 5 in baseball the last 5 seasons in home runs, on-base percentage, RBIs, OPS. Prince Fielder is an excellent hitter. Now he's going to get a chance to work with Miguel Cabrera in the center of that Tigers order. That's going to be a dynamic duo, probably the best 1-2 punch in baseball if both those guys can stay healthy in the upcoming season. Cabrera, though, first base, Prince Fielder first base. Fielder can DH a little bit, but he can't play any position other than first base. And we've seen many players in the past, most recently Adam Dunn, have a lot of struggles when asked to go from a full-time position player to a DH. I don't know how that's going to play with Fielder or Cabrera, who, by the way, has less than 30 games as designated hitter in his entire career. What it appears to be the situation with the Tigers is this. The Tigers will go with Prince Fielder as their first baseman, and they will go with Miguel Cabrera as their third baseman. Don't forget that Cabrera came up as a big leaguer as a third baseman. Unfortunately, the last time he played third base on a consistent basis was 2007. That year, he committed 23 errors. He's getting older. He's still 29 years old, but he's getting older. Not necessarily the best physical specimen either. I really worry about whether or not he will be good enough to play third base on a consistent basis for the Tigers, but that's the current plan. Most of the time, Cabrera at third. Most of the time, Fielder at first base. We'll have to see how it plays out, but it's going to be a very interesting year for the Detroit Tigers. 2 other minor signings. The A's signed Bartolo Colon. I'm not a big fan of Bartolo Colon. He was very good in the first half last year thanks to that special procedure he had outside the United States. We'll just leave it there. The season did wear on him. His performance greatly suffered in the second half. His ERA was approaching 5 in the second half. The A's are going to hope he gets out to a good start and that they're able to then parlay him in a deal to another club. Mixed leaguers, avoid Colon. AL leaguers, you can take a shot. Wilson Betemit is another player who may not be of value in a mixed league, but he certainly might. Now, he's gone to the Orioles. The Orioles are going to use Davis, Chris, and Reynolds, Mark at the 2 corner spots, leaving the DH spot basically wide open with Luke Scott out of the way and with Tampa Bay. Betemit, yeah, you might think he's not a great hitter, and yes, he has struggled in his career against left-handed pitching with a pretty drastic lefty-righty split. But look at his numbers the past 2 years. If you compare what Betemit has done the last 2 seasons in 599 at-bats to what Billy Butler did last season for the Royals in 597 at-bats, you will find nearly identical numbers. Look it up, people. It's pretty amazing. Now, I'm not saying Betemit is going to be better than Butler this year. I'm not saying he's worth a big investment on draft day, but Betemit is one of those guys that you invest single-digit dollars in, that you take late in the reserve round, that could end up being a nice return on your investment in 2012. Yoenis Cespedes, an outfielder, the Cuban-born defector, isn't established as a resident of the Dominican just yet. That is coming. When that time does come, he'll be free to sign with any club. The Marlins long thought to be the front runners for his services because they're close to Cuba because of the Cuban descent that's so prevalent in that state. Well, Cespedes is now saying he may not really want to play for the Marlins. That may be a negotiating tactic. We'll have to wait and see. Someone is going to pony up big money. The $30 million that Aroldis Chapman got is kind of being looked at as the baseline here. Cespedes is a player who has tons of skill, could be a 2020 performer at the big league level. Have to watch his long swing. He does have a bit of a loop in that. He generates tremendous power, but there is some holes in his swing that he needs to overcome. He could be a dynamic fantasy performer as early as this season, but before we get to that, we have to see where he signs. And then finally, two pitchers, Edwin Jackson, Roy Oswalt, the number 1 and number 2 starting pitchers still left on the free agent market. Both guys were thought to be looking for multi-year deals. It now looks like both might take single-year deals. The Red Sox apparently have offered or are close to offering contracts to both hurlers. They seem to prefer Edwin Jackson because maybe the fact he's younger and a little healthier at this point. Oswalt, for his part, turned down a contract from the Tigers. It's believed he probably wants to pitch for the Cardinals, the Rangers, or the Reds. Maybe the Red Sox will entice him. Again, Oswalt and Jackson, two pitchers we still need to find a home for 2012. I'm Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me on Around the Horn. Talk to y'all again soon.